1. Have you ever wondered why you push yourself for hours on the treadmill, meticulously count calories, and yet that stubborn belly fat just won't go away? It's frustrating, I know. We've been programmed to believe that fat loss is purely a mathematical equation of suffering. The more sweat, the less fat. But what if I told you that this very effort might actually be your biggest obstacle? The paradox is simple. The harder you train, while your body is under internal stress, the more your belly paradoxically grows. We think in terms of muscles and movement, but the body speaks a completely different language. It thinks in chemical frequencies. Fat is not burned through sheer muscle power. Fat is released by commands from your nervous system. If your nervous system is broadcasting on the wrong frequency, your fat cells remain literally locked, no matter how many miles you run. But what if the most important action for your metabolism today doesn't take 60 minutes, but exactly 60 seconds? There is a technique from neuroscience labs that can instantly shut down your brain's panic center. A mechanical hack that switches your system from storing to burning. Forget the struggle for a moment. Let's talk about the science behind these 60 seconds that are more powerful than an hour of cardio. 2. To understand why these 60 seconds are so crucial, we need to look at the invisible messenger that is keeping you trapped. Its name is cortisol. We often casually refer to cortisol as the stress hormone, but its true biological role is far more dramatic. It is the hormone of emergency. The moment your brain senses danger, whether it's a physical threat or just an aggressive email from your boss, your adrenal glands flood your body with cortisol, and this is where the problem for your body composition begins. Cortisol does not want you to burn fat. Fat is a slow, efficient fuel meant for times of safety and calm. In a crisis, your body demands fast energy. Cortisol acts like a chemical bouncer. It blocks an enzyme called hormone-sensitive lipase. This enzyme is the very key that normally unlocks your fat cells so fat can be burned. When cortisol is high, that door stays tightly shut. But it gets worse. At the same time, cortisol activates another enzyme, lipoprotein lipase. This enzyme acts like a massive vacuum, pulling every available bit of energy from your bloodstream and storing it directly in your abdominal area. Why the belly specifically? Because the fat tissue deep in your abdomen, visceral fat, has far more receptors for cortisol than any other tissue in your arms or legs. Biologically, your belly is the safest vault your body has for emergency storage. Do you see the trap now? When you're stressed, and then try to fight fat with extreme fasting or high-intensity training, you're simply adding physical stress to mental stress. The system overloads. Your brain receives the signal of a global crisis. Your body responds accordingly. It reinforces fat storage in the belly like steel-reinforced concrete to ensure survival. You're fighting your own biology, and that's a battle you can never win through effort alone. 3. So, if we're stuck in this hormonal trap, how do we get out? The answer does not lie in psychology. You cannot simply think yourself calm when your blood is flooded with cortisol. The nervous system does not respond to thoughts. It responds to physiology. Your autonomic nervous system has two opposing branches. There's the sympathetic system, your gas pedal, responsible for fight or flight and keeping cortisol high. And then there's the parasympathetic system, your biological brake. It governs rest, digestion, and most importantly for us, fat oxidation. The physical connection that controls this brake is the vagus nerve. It's like a long, powerful cable running directly from your brain to your organs. Here's where it gets fascinating. You cannot directly control your heart with your will, but you can manipulate it through your diaphragm and lungs. This principle is called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. Think about this. When you inhale, your diaphragm moves downward. This creates more space in your chest, allowing your heart to expand slightly. Blood flow slows momentarily. Sensors in your brain detect this drop in pressure and immediately send a command: speed up the heart rate. Inhaling is a signal to accelerate. But when you exhale, the opposite happens. The diaphragm moves upward, space in the chest decreases, and the heart is gently compressed. Blood flows through more quickly. The brain detects this rapid flow and instantly sends a signal through the vagus nerve to slow the heart down. This is the mechanical backdoor into your brain. By deliberately controlling your exhale, you can manually activate the vagus nerve and command your brain to shut off the cortisol pump instantly. You're using the physics of your own body to crack the chemical lock. 4. Now that you understand the mechanical backdoor to your nervous system, let's turn the key. This technique comes from the lab of Professor Andrew Huberman at Stanford University. It is the most efficient tool we know for reducing circulating cortisol in real time. It's called the physiological sigh. The execution is precise and follows 2 critical steps. Step 1. The double inhale. Take a deep breath through your nose, and before you exhale, take a second, short, sharp inhale on top of it. Why is this second inhale so important? Inside your lungs are millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli. When we are stressed or sitting for long periods, these sacs collapse like deflated balloons. This reduces oxygen intake and causes carbon dioxide to build up, putting your body into a subtle but constant state of alarm. That second sharp inhale mechanically reinflates those collapsed sacs. You instantly maximize the surface area for gas exchange and signal to your system: supply is secure. Step 2. The extended exhale. Now open your mouth and release the air in a long, slow sigh. It is crucial that the exhale lasts at least twice as long as the inhale. Push out every last bit of air from your lungs. Remember what we just learned. In this moment, your heart is slightly compressed, pressure receptors fire, and send a powerful signal through the vagus nerve. It is a biological signal of absolute safety. It commands your adrenal glands to immediately stop producing cortisol. Repeat this pattern for exactly 60 seconds. That's about 10 to 12 breathing cycles. In just 1 minute, you flush carbon dioxide out of your blood and flood your system with relaxation chemistry. You are literally cleansing your bloodstream of the stress hormones that have been locking your fat cells. A short protocol, massive hormonal impact. 5. Knowing the technique is valuable, but using it at the right time turns it into a metabolic weapon. There are 3 key windows in your day when this 60-second hack can make the difference between fat storage and fat burning. The first window is right before your meals. When you eat under stress, your body is in fight mode. Blood is diverted away from your digestive system and into your muscles. But the real issue is insulin. High cortisol dramatically amplifies the effect of insulin. Even if you're eating very few carbs, your body then stores every calorie directly as belly fat. Use these 60 seconds before your first bite. Switch into a relaxed state, optimize digestion, and avoid the insulin trap. The second window is the transition phase. After a long, chaotic workday, cortisol levels often remain elevated for hours. This leads to the notorious evening emotional eating. Before you walk through your front door or sit on the couch, pause. Cleanse your blood of the day's burden. Create a hormonal boundary so your evening becomes recovery, not frustration eating. The third window is the sleep switch. Deep sleep is the prime time for fat burning, driven by growth hormone. But cortisol ruthlessly blocks this hormone. When you practice this 1 minute of breathing while lying down, you signal absolute safety to your brain. You activate your fat-burning engine for the night. Internalize this one truth. A calm body is a lean body. Stop fighting your belly fat. Instead, change the chemistry in which it exists. Control your breath, and you control your metabolism.